ready? Go ahead. You start?
Yeah.
All right. We're doing 6.7. We're going to cover circumference and arc length. We're also going to cover 6.8 today, but we're going to do 6.7 first. The first thing we need to understand and talk about is circumference. Make sure that everybody understands circumference is the perimeter of a circle. Some people have trouble, they think circumference is different than perimeter. Circumference is different than perimeter because it's a circle. But the concept is the same. It is the perimeter of the circle. Okay, if you were an ant and you walk the perimeter of that circle, that would be the measurement. If you took a wheel, anybody ever seen a measuring device as a wheel? And if you walked around the track, that would be the perimeter of the track, also known as the circumference. Thousands of years, people have been figuring out circumference. Okay? The formula for circumference is an easy formula. It's 2 pi r. There is another formula. What is the other formula? Nope, that's area. 2 times the radius would be the same as what? Pi times diameter. So there's 2 formulas. I like to use pi times, or 2 pi r. That's the one I like to use. Understand that these are the same thing, because what's 2 times the radius is the same as the diameter. Okay, so that's the formula. Let's break down the formula into the 3 parts and talk about it. Okay, so circumference equals 2. That's easy enough. Now let's talk about pi. Pi is a symbol, okay, that stands for a number. Okay, it's an irrational number. Pi is approximately 3.14. Anybody know the next 2 digits? 159, and so on and so on.
Whenever we're typing my calculator, are we going to use the pi button or
Good question. We're getting there. There's a guy on TV, Guinness Book of World Records. He memorized.
I saw that. It took him like 3 days or so.
He memorized 25,000 places of pi, just to say that he could do it. I think it took 8 hours, but it could have taken multiple days. They had a table, and there were like 12 people sitting at the table, and they checked him every digit to make sure that he got it right. He's just sitting there going 3.14159623, whatever. I mean, he just on and on and on and on 25,000 times. Why did he do it? I don't know. Prove he's the smartest person in the world. I don't know. Super smart. Super smart. He might not get that 12 squared problem, but he got that up, got the rest of it. All right, so Ashlyn's question was, are we going to use 3.14? Are we going to use the pi button? Great question. Okay, everybody get your calculator out and find the pi button and hit pi and then hit equals. Pi and then equals. So your calculator knows as many digits are in there. It actually knows more that it doesn't even display. Okay, so the pi button is very accurate. How about 3.14? Is that very accurate? No. It's accurate, but it's not that accurate. I want you to do something. I want you to type in 22 divided by 7. 22 divided by 7. That's what ancient people used. Because they didn't know, they didn't have calculators. They used 22 over 7. What's 22 over 7? So it's close, right? But it's not all the way there. So pi is important. You must read the directions as far as pi is concerned. If it doesn't say, to answer your question, you use the pi button. If it says use 3.14, then you use 3.14. What if it says given an exact answer? Nope. Because that's not exact. Because eventually your calculator rounds. It goes out here 25 places and then it rounds. So that's a rounded answer. So what if the problem says exact? What is an exact answer? No, 3.14 is rounded. No, that's rounded. That's even more of an approximation. There you go. An exact answer is just 9 pi or 18 pi, right? We just leave it in terms of pi. We don't round it. Because no matter what you put in for pi, if you use the pi button or if you use 3.14, you're rounding. So if it asks you for an exact answer, then you say 9 pi or 18 pi. Just leave it in terms of pi. Okay? We're clear on that. Then what does R stand for? The radius. So we got a circle. The radius is the distance from the center of the circle to the edge of the circle. R. They might trip you up by giving you D. However, that's easy because you just take the diameter and multiply it times pi. Okay? Piece of cake. All right, so let's do some examples. All right, here's a circle. The radius is 5. Find the circumference. Everybody, we're going to round like money. We're going to use the pi button, and we're going to round like money.
31.142.
All right, on our calculator, we're going to type in 2 times pi times 5. Is that the same as 10 pi? If it wanted it exact, you would say 10 pi. But that's not what I said. I said round like money. So what do you get?
31.415.
All right.
31.42.
42, right? Rounded like money. 31.42 rounded like money. Piece of cake. And most of you, if you walked in and I had 5 circumference problems on it, and I gave you the formula, you probably could figure it out. Okay? There's not much to circumference. That's old stuff. I'm just reviewing you, making sure that we're all up to speed on circumference. How much time are we at? Let's see.
4 minutes.
4 minutes? Okay. All right, any questions so far on circumference? All right, let's talk about what's new for today. Okay, there are going to be circumference problems on the test, in your homework, because it just adds to it. But now, let's talk about arc length. Arc length is a certain circumference. It is a distance from here to here, a part of the circumference. If this is the center of the circle and this is a right angle and this is A or B, the arc length can tell us just a section of the circle, a part of the circle. We're not doing all the way around, we're just going from here to here. That's what arc length is. It is a part of the perimeter of the circle. Okay, you with me? Arc length. How do we find arc length? Well, it's pretty easy. We're always going to do the circumference of the entire circle times a ratio. You need to write this down. The circumference of the circle times a ratio. If we can figure out the ratio and figure out the circumference, type it in our calculator, we get the right answer. I'm going to show you. Alright, so here we go. Notice I got to say the length of AB. I can't say the measure of AB, and I'll show you why in just a second. But that's how the question is going to say. It's going to say find the length of AB, and it's going to put an arc over the top, like that. Okay? Alright, so what is the circumference of the entire circle? If the radius is 6, we just did circumference. What is the circumference of the entire circle? 2 pi times 6. Oh, hold on, I don't want to know it. I don't want to just, that's what we're writing down. If you figured out that it's 12 pi, that's fine too. But you can type this into your calculator every single time, and that's the circumference of the entire circle. If I said find the circumference, that would be your answer.
We're doing this, and you say round like money.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to round like money and then plug it in?
No. You only round at the very end. You only round at the very end. Good question. All right, so here we go. Ratio. The most important part of arc length. What is the ratio? Well, this box means what? 90 degrees. Means it's a right angle, means it's 90 degrees. If this angle, this central angle is 90 degrees, then what is the measure of arc AB in degrees? It's also 90 degrees. How'd you figure that? Why are they? Because it's a central angle, then they are the same. We learned that 2 weeks ago. Now, we got to come up with a ratio of this part in relation to the whole circle. How much is the whole circle all the way around? 360 degrees. So this ratio is always going to be a number, some number, over 360. It's just going to be a ratio. In this case, in this example, what is it going to be? What is 90 over 360 the same as? Do you have to reduce it? No, your calculator is smart enough to know that 90 over 360 equals 1/4. If you typed in 1/4, you'd still get the right answer. Okay? Doesn't it make sense that this is a quarter of the circle? Right? Isn't 90, if I had 4 of these, wouldn't that divide it up? If I told you to slice a pizza up in quarters, you had 4 people and you wanted quarters, wouldn't they be 90 degrees right in the middle? Doesn't that make sense? It kind of follows intuitively.
We're talking into a calculator.
Now, once you get to this step, with parentheses, you type it in your calculator. Try it now.
0.94. Do we need to use the little, the fraction sign, or can we use the big?
Great question.